hear from ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. From tech startup CEOs and marketing professionals to authors, investors, and sales trainers, this show will be packed with information to help you level up in life or business, taking you from on fire up to lava hot. Get ready to burn this mother down.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lava Hot Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Connell. Today we're going to be talking real estate investing with an individual that I think has a remarkable story. This young man is one. I want to start with a principle that I'm grateful for. The fact that he's active duty military and he started his company, real estate company, during the pandemic, which I think is ultimately impressive. But he also invests in real estate while being active duty overseas, which if you think of the average person who might be interested in investing in real estate, they have a number of reasons or roadblocks that they might throw in the way of like, well, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources. This guy had a whole different country he was in. So I thought that was impressive from jump. In addition to having his own real estate company, investing in real estate, but he also hosts a wholesaling micro tribe where he trains 100 plus individuals on how to wholesale real estate. And so with that, I want to welcome Mr. Taylor, and I want to say, hey, thank you for your service. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Hey, Joe, thanks for thinking of me and having me on, brother. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. I'm excited to have this conversation with you and add as much value as we can to your viewers, subscribers. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to get started. Thanks for plugging my micro tribe in there and sharing a little bit of my story here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, this is a topic that I have a little bit of knowledge on when it comes to wholesaling real estate. I've read a number of different books on wholesaling. I've also read some books on real estate investing. Of course, there's going to be the tried and true Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But I'm also a big follower of Grant Cardone. I talk about him a lot on my show, and real estate's really his game. But I'm anxious to connect with you and try to understand what you've been seeing over the last 2 years as you're starting a business from overseas and all that jazz. But we could definitely dive right into it. What I'm curious of is what got you interested in real estate and how did you get things started?
Yeah, so I was stationed overseas in Germany, actually, when I decided to get started in real estate. I had served 13 years in the Army so far, been Iraq, Afghanistan, a couple different duty stations stateside. And I was in Germany when the pandemic happened. And it just so happened that was a good time for me to get started because the Army slowed down dramatically. We were sitting in barracks rooms, wearing masks, like not really having much of a job to do. And for the first time in my life, I decided to educate myself on, financial literacy, investing, things along those lines. Because for 10 plus years, I was mission first, Army. What do I need to do to train and lead soldiers, to take soldiers to combat, bring them back healthy? That was my mission. So it really wasn't about me, a company, anything like that until the pandemic happened. So right in the middle of the pandemic, it was probably about March of 2020. I started watching YouTube and getting my financial literacy game going. And I got rid of a bunch of debt, saved some money, and I actually started out watching Bigger Pockets. So I was in the BRRRR space well before I was in wholesaling. But as everybody knows, the market changed a lot. So we decided to pivot our business.
Did you say the BRRRR space?
Yep.
Okay. Just for those that are listening, can you walk us through what that acronym means?
Yeah. So I was living in Germany, 5,000 miles away, and I was watching Bigger Pockets, and their main strategy that they've coined is the BRRRR strategy, which is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. And from Germany, I did my first BRRRR. And I had all kinds of anxiety when I was doing it. I had only watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I had no construction background. I have no real estate background. I'm not a realtor. Nothing. I'm just a soldier. And what happened was, watching those videos gave me some confidence that I would be able to pull a BRRRR off. And once the first one worked, I went all in. I did like 10 more right after that. But from Germany, I was interviewing property management, interviewing contractors, reaching out to local wholesalers. I didn't even know what a wholesaler was when I was doing it. I just knew that some guys that had fixer upper houses sold them. I didn't even realize what the game was then, which is our core business now. And we did about 10 BRRRRs from Germany, and it completely changed the trajectory of my life because now I'm a real estate investor. I own a handful of rentals, and that's how I got started in real estate. And today we own a bunch of those houses still. We held them through this crazy push,
Right.
and that in itself helped us having become a millionaire in 2 years of real estate investing.
Yeah. So I want to just clarify what wholesaling is for those that are listening, or at least my understanding of it. And you might, it's been a little while since I've, done my research, but the way I've understood it is that a wholesaler would go to market. They would find properties that are for sale or ones that might not even necessarily be for sale. They'll try to get that under contract. And then in essence, they'll be able to sell that contract to a real estate investor who might want to go the BRRRR method, if you will, or they want to renovate it and flip it. Correct.
Yep. So yeah, wholesaling, it's selling a contract. It's not really real estate. It's marketing and sales. It just so happens that the thing that we're marketing to and the thing that we're selling is a contract for a house.
Yeah.
What we do is we market. Our best deals have been off market properties, people that haven't even really considered selling. And we come in and give them a cash offer, or houses that have been distressed in undesirable locations, houses that have just been neglected, inherited, properties that are all around the nation that nobody knows what to do with. We find the owners, we contract those houses, we sell those contracts to a flipper, a landlord, a hedge fund, and we make a spread in between selling those contracts. Some of those spreads can be, $100,000 if you're good at it.
Wow. Nice. So I would imagine in your micro tribe, you probably dive into a lot of the meat and potatoes of how to find deals and so on and so forth. But I'm curious if you'll share with us some of the tricks of the trade, if you will, for somebody that might be interested. Maybe they're diving down the rabbit hole of YouTube, trying to understand wholesaling, or they saw, the various influencers on TikTok who talk about wholesaling. What are some of like the areas that you would say, hey, if you're interested in starting, whether it's wholesaling, the BRRRR method, whatever, what would you say? Hey, this is what you should start doing. This is the steps I would take initially to get the ball rolling.
I would find a mentor, someone that is already having success with this, and I would just copy their systems and processes. What we do in our micro tribe is show all people that join exactly what it is we do in our core business and copy the system. And then if you do that and you do some sales training, sales is like the heart of this. Can you close a deal, or can you hire somebody that can close a deal? But if you understand and you have a really good sales process on how to talk to homeowners, overcome objections, and understand a market and how to run comps, you can do really well in this business. So I was like hiring a mentor, finding a system that you can copy to implement into your business, and then doing some sales training. Those are excellent ways to just get started.
Very cool. Out of curiosity, with the sales training, is that something that you offer within the micro tribe?
Yeah, we do 4 calls a month. Every Tuesday at 6 Central, we go live within our group, and usually every other week we do live calls within the group. So you'll see firsthand. I'm not one of those people where, join the call and then I'm not on the call. I'm there on the call. I'll make calls with you, right? And then if you want to take it a step further, we do individual coaching and training for people that want to really get into the sales and aren't seeing the conversions maybe from their marketing, and they want to get a one-on-one and figure out, hey, where in this process am I going wrong? What are some of the objections I need to say when someone says, I got to think about it. Oh, I need to get my wife on the line. Oh, I'm not sure exactly how much I want. What are the things that you say to that? Right. So we do a lot of individual training to tell you how to overcome all those objections as well within the tribe. But I mean, really, it's a really cool community of people and investors and experts you can lean on to get your deals done. And we're all nationwide. So it's a great group. We do offer individual sales training, but we go live within the group and show how things are done.
Very cool. So you're helping on that front end. I would imagine helping them identify, look, these are going to be the core objections that you're going to get. Here's the talk track that I would go about in order to overcome those objections to kind of further the conversation a little bit. And then this is the steps I would take to try to structure the deal. Is that correct?
Right. So we teach everybody to think with the end in mind in our group. We say, don't just go out and go fishing and try to catch any fish that you can and then try to sell it. Go hunting for exact houses for your buyers, right? Our customers are flippers, landlords, and hedge funds, right? So what kind of houses do they want? Let's market to those people. So when we get a property under contract, we can sell it in a matter of minutes instead of spending weeks trying to figure out what to do with it. Yeah. That'll be the difference between a decent wholesaler and a great one is having a really good buyers list and understanding a process.
Very cool. So out of curiosity, what is like that process for the marketing end of it? So, let's say I just sign up for your training program. I'm dialed in. I'm willing to make the calls. I'm willing to learn how to overcome the objections, all of that jazz. What type of outbound marketing can an individual do to try to attract, let's say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home local to their market?
Yeah, we are so dialed into the numbers that when someone onboards with us, we ask them, how much do you have to spend on marketing? Because we make our group very affordable because we want you to be able to spend money on marketing. So one of the first questions we're going to ask is, how much do you have for marketing? And depending on your answer is going to depend on the software and system that we put you into. If you have a lot of money to throw at stuff and you're like, hey, look, we got 20 grand a month to spend on this, we're going all in on it, quitting my job, we're going to put you on a different track to success than someone that says, hey, I got $1,000 a month to put on this. I'm doing this part-time. This is the side hustle for me. I'm just looking to make an extra, 3 or 4 grand a month by doing this. Right. We're going to put them on a different plan. But our outbound marketing plans are texting, cold calling, pay per click. Those are the main ones that we're going to use. And depending on your budget is depending on which one we're going to put into your system to implement in your business.
Wow. Very cool. So I'm kind of curious, like if somebody's interested in joining that micro tribe, do you have like periods where you're accepting people, or is it something that's just kind of ongoing?
Yeah, we let it continue to be ongoing. Our goal is to get a couple hundred people in the group. It's $100 a month. That's the crazy part, right? Everything else in real estate starts at 5, 10 grand, right? We enable people to get. This is why I love wholesale. You don't need a license. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have any certificates, right? It allows anybody to get started, and my group allows you to get the knowledge. So what happens is a lot of this knowledge is sought after, but it's very expensive to get. What we've done is create a community where there's not a ton of upsell, where you can come in and get this knowledge. And as long as you have some marketing dollars and you're willing to hustle, you can get in the game just like anybody else. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how we're set up as a community.
Very cool. And extremely affordable. I mean, $100 a month to have direct mentorship every single week to be able to, I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, like do the members have an opportunity to say, hey, look, I'm facing this challenge, or, I found this property, I'm trying to get it under contract. What steps would you take? I would imagine it's kind of like a Q&A type of deal.
Yeah, we do Q&A. We have guest speakers on. I mean, last week we had one of the best creative finance people in the industry on our call that poured into our community. We talked about sub-2s, how to get them done, how to structure them. So we bring on some of the best experts in the industry as well to educate our community. So it's not just me every week, right? We bring on the best of the best for sales training, for creative training, for systems and softwares. We're constantly updating our scripts and getting new zip codes for buyers and giving those to our community. This is what we want you to market so you can find more deals. This is where we're having success. It's very much a give group. And it's been working out for us really well.
Very cool. So if somebody is in a market where they're not able to find deals, do you have some sort of coaching that would help them find deals in different markets throughout the country?
Yeah. So what we have is different softwares that show us where all the cash buyers are actually at. And if you
Wow.
follow the money, you'll find the deals. So if someone's having trouble in Houston, right?
Mhm.
I'll open one of the softwares that I use, and we'll look at the zip codes and figure out where all the deals are happening, where are all the cash transactions happening in the city. And I'll give them 5 zip codes, and I'll say, hey, this is where I need you to put your marketing dollars towards, not just the city as a whole, but these specific zip codes. Like I said, we get very detailed on how to market because every dollar that goes out, $5 coming back in. So we don't want to waste time and money just marketing to people that aren't where the cash transactions are happening.
Absolutely. Me being a marketing guy, that's extremely powerful. Oftentimes I'll meet with a client and I'll try to, I'll ask them a couple of different questions. One, who's your ideal customer? What type of product do they typically buy? But then when I get into, okay, well, what are some of the main geographies? Sometimes they don't know that answer. It's hard for them to distinguish exactly what market they should be marketing to be able to attract that ideal customer. But for you to be able to go in and look at a software and say, look, this is where the money's going. These are the exact zip codes. There's so much you can do with that in terms of how you're going to then market to those people. So that's extremely powerful. And this is something that you provide within the tribe.
Yeah, we give them exact markets and zip codes. I'm on the phone with our buyers every week, constantly updating their buy boxes so that we can provide the best buyer data to our group. So when I say, hey, we need houses in this city and this zip code at this price point, this many square foot, they're going to go pull that list on another software that we use and market to them. And then the deals are going to happen because we already have the buyers. When they say, hey, we got something in that zip code, it matches all the criteria, before the ink can dry, it's sold.
Oh, wow. So you already have investors that would buy that property in that market.
Correct.
Very cool. That was my next question. How does one go about finding the investor side of things? Is that something that they have to try to do that legwork on their own? But the fact that you already have people lined up within those geographies is pretty powerful. And is that all across the country?
That's nationwide. We partner with a company called Investor Lift. We have about 4 million buyers nationwide. So we help our community do the disposition portion of wholesaling with what will help them sell a house anywhere. We're doing deals this month in, I think, 9 states. Oregon, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, and that's just Florida, Georgia, just to name a few. We're doing deals in all of those this month. And, I live in a base in Oklahoma. This is all nationwide and part-time.
Very cool. So for just out of curiosity, for the students that you have, I guess would be the best way to say it. What's like the typical or on average, like how quickly do they get into their first deal or find their first deal and have an opportunity to market that over to one of the investors?
Yeah, everyone's case by case because some of them pay a little extra for sales training. Some of them pay extra to cut the line, like I did with mentorship. So some of them they pay a little bit more to play a little bit faster. If people just follow the systems and they spend a decent amount of money on marketing, they can get a deal within 60 days, typically.
Yep. Very cool. Very cool. For the sales training side of things, is that all in-house within the tribe, or is there any sort of specific sales training that you recommend if they want to do some sort of like ongoing training?
No. So last year I competed in I was in a competition called the Closers Olympics. It's a big event where a bunch of wholesalers, right? We compete against each other to see who can get the most contracts. So around that time, I had taken a few different sales trainings and I had listened to the previous year's calls, and I started training that way. Now, since then, I've taken many different sales trainings, joined other mentorships, done thousands of phone calls. So all of our training is in-house. We've created our own scripts. We've created our own sales processes. We've taken the best parts of everybody's training and implemented them into our process. Because there's some guys, they've been doing this for over a decade. They're really good, but they've only been doing real estate for a little while, or they've been in real estate for a long time, so they know where to look, but they don't have a good sales process, right? So I've hired all the best mentors, coaches. I've taken the best from all of them, implemented them into our own community, and we give that away every week within our community.
So I would imagine as you start onboarding students that you have probably heard a variety of reasons on why somebody isn't going to get started or hasn't gotten started in investing in real estate. I know that, for me, and I'll be upfront, I've always said, my market is just so saturated. It's hard. It's an objection I give myself, which I could definitely recognize that it's a silly objection, especially since there's such a large, pond in the United States for us to be able to fish in. But I say it to say, I'm kind of curious, what are some of the standard objections that you get from students, and then how they've been able to overcome them just by going through the tribe?
Yeah, most people are. So kind of our thing is we help you do your first deal, right? A lot of people come in, they don't have any sales background and they don't know how to get started, right? So they'll see us meeting as a community, right? Or they'll see us at an event, something like that. And they'll ask about the group. And we'll just tell them, the group isn't necessarily a mentorship for you to just come in and learn, right? But we do just share everything we're doing. But you have to take the action,
right,
from what we're telling you to do it. Because otherwise, there are people that you can pay a lot of money to, and they'll hold your hand, right? And they'll show you exactly what to do. And we offer that as well, but just not in bulk, right? We don't offer that to 50 people, right? So our idea is to just grow a massive group, a huge, massive group in a huge community where we can lean on each other. But with that comes a lot of people that don't know how to get started. So we send them to our website, we show them the 5 or 6 steps that they need to get started. And that's usually the first thing that they don't understand. It's like, just what is wholesaling? How do I find these houses? So depending on their budget, we show them, this is how you get the leads. This is how you market. This is how you need to sound on the phone. And if this is how you dispo, this is how you find a buyer. These are the title companies that you use. So we basically just, pull back the curtains and show people when they say they don't want to get started. One of the other objections that we get, let me think, probably we can't find any deals. Right? We can't find any deals. We don't know where to get a deal at. We're marketing here. We can't get houses where you're asking at the right price. And the way to do that is people do business with people that they like, trust, and that are credible, right? So when you haven't done any sales training, you don't really understand how to get people to like you, right? How to get people to trust you. They don't feel like you're the authority in this space. You're a ghost online, so you have no credibility, right? So we show them how do you build a website, right? So you can be online, at least have some sort of online presence. This is how you need to sound and the words and things you need to say so people will like you. And this is the tone you need to have so that people trust you. And we go through all that when we're on the phone, like when we give when we give feedback to our guys, whenever they call live leads, I go, hey, this is what was wrong with your tone. This is what was wrong with your projection, right? The reason they asked you for proof of funds is because you don't sound like a boss, right? You sound like this is the first time you called somebody. So we help them overcome that stuff, and that's usually one of the reasons why. It's just because they don't know how to sound like a authority figure. Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, and I it's interesting. So this saying on the wall behind me, I also have it on my wristband and my shirt. It says "Feed the wolf." It's kind of the saying that I hang on to. It's a derivative of the phrase "the legs feed the wolf." If you've ever seen the movie Miracle, it's about the 1985 Olympic hockey team. There's a part where the head coach is talking about why they're going to train so vigorously, and he says the legs feed the wolf. I've always found that, in any scenario, that you have to feed the wolf, meaning you've got to put in that work to eventually overcome, that discomfort. I would imagine the more reps these guys are going to put in making those phone calls and calling, maybe it's a for sale by owner, an individual that might not even be considering selling their property, whatever it is. I would imagine the more times they go through that and they hear the same objections, I know it to be true in the sales game that the more times you hear the same objection, the better you get at your tonality, at how you're going to respond to that. And in many cases, I feel like if you can easily identify what the real objections are going to be, and they're just complaints anyway. So it's just really getting over that. I sometimes I plug Uncle G. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Grant, but I thought I would share this with you since you seem to be an individual that looks into sales training. He actually has for veterans Cardone University that's completely free.
Oh, nice. I have to check it out.
Yeah. So I've been on Cardone U since 2015. About 1,000 different video modules. They go into, overcoming objections, cold calling, how to stay motivated, the sales process, but, over 1,000 videos of Uncle G. And for veterans, I'll shoot you the link here after. Actually, I'll put it on this episode. That way, if there's any veterans that listen and they're just curious or active duty military, I think it's something really cool that he does. I guess it's just his way of being able to get back to the military is he provides it for free.
Yeah. Do you want to say the link?
Yeah. I think if you go to, it's been a while since I've looked at it, but if you look up, I think it's grantcardone.com/veterans. I think it takes you to that page. If not, if that's not the correct one, I'll figure out what it is and I'll put it into the show notes, on all the podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, so on and so forth.
Perfect, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I want to ask, for individuals that might be curious about, okay, what, this guy piqued my interest. I have a business and I have a surplus of money, so I'm kind of curious about that BRRRR method, or I'm looking for that extra layer of income or a complete change in my workflow. If anybody's interested in trying to connect with you for the tribe, where would you recommend they go to try to connect with you?
Yeah, so my website is thenaamantaylor.com. The like the Ohio State University. Yep. Naaman, Naaman, Taylor, Taylor. Check out the website. Also, I'm really active on Instagram. So at Naaman Taylor Investor is probably the best social media platform to reach out to me on. We're dropping a lot of content there and a lot of free game. We're pretty active. We go live pretty often. So yeah, just follow me on there and I'll be sure to get back with you. I still answer everything. So.
Very cool. So Naaman, the one last question I wanted to ask, and I had it on my notes here, but so it's Naaman, the certified closer, real estate soldier. I want to know where that name came from.
Yeah, it happened during Closers Olympics, man, actually, last year. So I forget who actually gave me the nickname on the show, but somebody said it. And I was like, dude, I'm rolling with that for a while. Yeah, so it came from the competition that I was in. It's a really cool competition. I hope that they do it again this year and I get to compete. It was really fun doing it. But yeah, certified closer, real estate soldier. It's not just a nickname, it's real life. I'm on the phones every day, closing deals in my uniform half the time because I got to go right back to work. I got my headset right here that we run it through. Like, this is not, we are really in this business. This isn't just like some guru talking. We're going to do probably close to $1 million this year in wholesales alone, not even including our flips, coaching, what else? BRRRRing, all the other things that we do with real estate, hotels, just wholesaling specifically. So we really know what we're doing over here. And that's where the name came from.
Absolutely. Well, I loved it. I definitely wanted to make sure I brought that up before we wrapped up this episode. For those, interested, I definitely recommend you go check out the tribe. Check him out on all of his social media channels. I also think I found a TikTok for you as well. So I saw that you're starting to push out some content there. And, I just want to thank you, one, for taking the time to come on the show to, just share some of your knowledge, what you've developed over the last couple of years here, especially during, some pretty bizarre times from overseas. I think it's very cool, but I also wanted to, again, thank you for your service. I always love an opportunity to be able to say thank you to our veterans. It's very important to me on that.
Dude, it was an honor and a privilege to be on here, brother. I really appreciate you, reaching out and getting me on the podcast here, man. This was awesome.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, thanks again for having me.
Yes, sir.
You've been listening to the Lava Hut Podcast with Joseph Connell Jr. Do you want to level up your business in 2022? Then visit us at golavahot.com for a free marketing analysis.